First, I'd like to welcome you and congratulate you on improving your internet marketing business. Whether you've struggled in the past or have had success, what I'm about to reveal here will help you take your business to the next level. And there's no better time to do that than right now. I want to show you how I regularly take $1 and turn it into $3.50 on almost all of my online marketing projects, all while using a proven 6-step process that I developed over the course of a couple years. Let me ask you something. Have you ever swung and missed at the following? Affiliate marketing, product creation, network marketing, coaching or consulting, and on and on? If so, I want you to pay close attention to what I'm about to show you. If you've bought into the hype in the past, trust me, you're not alone. And it's not because these don't work, because they do. It's because they're teaching you at the 10,000 foot level, leaving so many questions unanswered, and if they do provide answers, it's through their $2,000 to $10,000 coaching program just for freaking answers. What if I revealed the 6-step process that nearly every marketer must perfect before finally making a product or service profitable? What if I could show you a simplified way where I can eliminate nearly every single step? I completely understand if you feel that this sounds too good to be true because you've heard it all in the past. I realize most people here are already skeptical because they've been burnt in the past, probably multiple times. I want you to take a deep breath and relax because I'm about to show you that there is a way. Hi, my name's Josh Adelsberger. I'm a management consultant, real estate investor, and serial entrepreneur. And really the common thread between all of my businesses that I've really tried to master is marketing. I want to give you a little background on myself. I left the corporate world back in 2006 to start a management consulting company. Since that time, I've worked with a lot of leading Fortune 100 to 1000 companies throughout the United States. Since that time, I've always looked to grow and expand my businesses. But I knew my personal network was only going to take me so far. That's why I really wanted to get into marketing. And as I got into marketing, the one piece that really intrigued me was internet marketing because I understood the scalability of how many people you could reach worldwide and what that could do to my business. I want to give you a little background on my marketing journey. First, I started creating some simple products that I could get out to prospective customers to help try to drive in leads. I began with article marketing, email marketing, blogging, and SEO. Sound familiar? I attempted some offline marketing strategies like direct mail, networking, and a few others. Probably one thing that I did that I wish I wouldn't have done so much of is I would hear one marketer talk about one thing that sounded really intriguing, so I would go off and try to do that one for a little while. And then I'd hear about something else that came up and I would chase that one. So I was constantly chasing the shiny object, whatever someone threw out there that really sounded appealing that I thought would help my business. One thing that I learned was traffic was slow and inconsistent. And a lot of it was because I was doing it all wrong. The bottom line is I knew there was a huge opportunity but didn't quite understand the right path to success. Now if we jump ahead 4 years, I started following some of the top internet marketing minds out there. I started to develop some of my own marketing strategies. I'd pull from some of the gold nuggets that I would hear from all the marketers and try to put it into my own model that really made sense to me visually and the things that I could go out there that I knew I could implement and try to get good results on. Listening to all these marketers was quite confusing, to be honest. At times, if I paid attention to a single marketer or a couple marketers, it got so confusing that I struggled piecing it all together. After spending a couple years really struggling how to put it all together and make it all work and get the results that I was going after, I really wanted to take some of my own advice. Owning a management consulting company, my business was to go out there and educate other people on how to do things more efficiently and get better results. So I took my own advice and and started networking with some of the great minds out there in the internet marketing world to help identify who that right person was that I felt that could coach me through the process. The guy that I ended up choosing was Jesse Reagan. He sold over $20 million worth of digital products since being a full-time internet marketer. He's coached over 200 people to full-time success online and has established 3 software companies that provide services for thousands. Right from the start, working with Jesse, he really started making everything clear. All the unanswered questions that I had previously, he helped bring a lot of clarity to those and allowed me to start making a lot more progress. He helped me put together a simple online marketing strategy that I could go out there and start executing immediately. And within, I would say, the first week to 2 weeks, I was starting to get things put in place, and I really started seeing the financial results, come in that I was really looking for. He really emphasized the importance of sales funnels, the power of them, and the power of traffic and conversions, and not to mention big ticket items, because that's really where your money is made. And that's really just scratching the surface. Throughout that time, he has taught me a lot more than that, but I can tell you right now, I have already seen the return on my investment. Alright, so enough about all that. Let's jump into what I actually learned, how I applied it, and how I think that can help you in your business as well. Something I really struggled with early on in my consulting business was I found myself wearing way too many hats. I was trying to be the expert in all areas of my business, whether it was consulting, which is really what I did, or finance, or contracts, or business development, or sales, or marketing. It was spreading me way too thin, and to be honest, I really didn't have the expertise in a lot of those areas, and I found it really difficult balancing all those things and trying to get the day-to-day work done. Now, in my consulting business, one thing that's absolutely critical, and it's critical in almost every business, even internet marketing, is carving out the time that's really needed to build the relationships that are going to help you take your business to the next level. Something that's really important to me is my family life, and balancing the two, family and business, was something I have struggled with, and probably something I still struggle with a little bit today, and primarily just because I'm such a goal-oriented person and have high expectations and huge goals that I'm always trying to accomplish. One of the top priorities in every single business that I have, and something I'm extremely passionate about, is generating more leads. You want to have people knocking on your door that are interested in your product or service. Another priority is to build out my brand and become known as an expert authority in every single industry or niche that I'm in. Like all of us, we're all busy, so I want to create additional bandwidth through automation in anything that I can do, especially in my online efforts. And most importantly, the top priority is to grow my business. And when I say that, I mean profitably. And again, one of my biggest passions is my family, so providing an improved work-life balance is something that is really, really important to me. I want to take a second now to kind of do a process check with everyone. One, I want to make sure everything I've explained there, does that sound familiar to what you've been through, what your goals and objectives are, and kind of what you've possibly struggled with in the past? And I know it should be pretty simple, right? This whole process of internet marketing, if you look at it at a high level, it's really about selecting the right product, generating enough traffic, and getting that traffic to convert. It's a pretty simple formula, but even as simple as that is, a lot of us still struggle. And another thing, we need to be crystal clear on what we're actually trying to achieve. And a lot of people are going to say, hey, I want to make $100,000 a year or $1 million a year. But it's really not about the money. Money is simply what helps us achieve the goals that we're trying to achieve. For me, it's more about spending quality time with my family, giving me more flexibility. I want to go out there. I want to take my daughter to school. I want to be there for all of her school functions. I want to be able to take her on the vacations that that she deserves and that I want to be able to spend that time with my family. And to me, that's one of the absolute most important things is that flexibility and the better work-life balance. And to me, that's what the money does for me. It's not about the money. It's about what the outcome that I actually get from building a successful business really brings. All right, so let's dive into the meat of this presentation here. And it's about the blueprint that I put together, and it's really what I learned over the probably the last 4 to 5 years, or let me say the first 4 to 5 years in internet marketing. I told you I bounced around from, one marketer suggestion to another and was chasing that shiny object and was always confused. So for me, I'm a very visual person. I like things that flow from left to right, top to bottom, something that everybody can explain, something that everybody can understand. And this is what I came up with. This is something that I put together, one, for myself to bring clarity, and two, so I could put it in front of other marketers and coaching prospects and students, just to show them what you need to do in this business to be successful. Alright, so let's go through the 6 primary steps. Those were the 6 steps in the middle with the red box around them, and we're going to go through each of these steps and kind of dissect each one of them. The first one is market research. Before you enter any market, you really need to understand it. You need to understand what types of customers are out there, what their needs are, because what business is really about is identifying the problems that persist and bringing a solution to them in a way which people want to purchase them. Number 2, it's about product identification and creation. That could be an information product, could be software, could be anything, but you need to, once you understand your market, you need to identify what product you're going to create for them to help them solve that problem. Number 3, create your landing page. And I'll expand landing page to sales funnel, but your landing page, after you have your product identified and created, your landing page is simply the first page that you're going to drive your traffic to, so it's one of the absolute most critical pieces of your sales funnel. Step number 4, and it's really what's going to be one of the primary differentiators in you becoming wealthy or you making a few extra dollars a day, a week, a month, whatever it might be. The ability to scale that up is absolutely tremendous. And all traffic's not created equal. We'll get into that a little bit later, but the more targeted you can create your traffic or drive traffic to your landing page, obviously is going to increase your conversions, cut down on your traffic costs, and put a heck of a lot more money in your pocket. Step number 5, test and increase conversions. That's the other primary piece that in my businesses, what I really focus on. It's the ability to scale the traffic up, and once that traffic lands on your landing page or goes throughout your sales funnel, it's about the ability to get them to convert. The objective isn't to get them to your landing page. The objective is to create a call to action that gets them to purchase your product or service. And the last step that we're going to go over is post-sale activities. And again, we're going to get into each of these 6 steps a lot deeper in the upcoming slides. Like I said, traffic and conversions really is the biggest differentiator between those marketers that make a lot of money and those that don't. If you can't drive huge volumes of traffic and can get that traffic to convert, you're probably going to, either just barely make any money, or you're going to lose a boatload of money. And the quicker that you can understand that and implement some of those strategies into your business, the better. After I started identifying some of these things within the blueprint and really put that into practice, let me talk about some of the results that I actually saw from that. Let's just take one of the past years. I added over 100,000 followers in that year. I increased my sales by 213%. Now again, 213% may or may not sound like a lot, and it really depends on At what level, if you're running $100 business, ramping that up to 213 isn't too big. If it's you're taking $1 million business to over $2 million, that's pretty significant. So percentage I wouldn't get too hung up on. I created numerous information products that could be sold online, and that's front end offers and back end offers, and even some high ticket items. Again, one of the most important things, it allowed me to spend a lot more time with my family. We went on multiple cruises. We went and vacationed in the islands. To me, that's really, really important. I love spending time with my daughters, and see a smile on their face is absolutely priceless in my mind. All right, so let's start to dive deeper into some of these, each of the 6 steps. First, marketing research. There are 3 key elements within marketing research. And again, I cannot stress how important it is before you ever think about putting money into investing time or money, I guess, into a product, that you do proper market research. I've learned this through experience. I thought I knew markets. I thought I knew what they wanted. I went out there and spent thousands and thousands of dollars only to find out I didn't do enough market research and there wasn't enough demand, and I didn't know their problems that as well as I thought I did. The first step is niche research. Second, demographic profile. So identifying and understanding who your customers truly are. Competitor analysis. Go out there and search who's out there, what they're selling, how well they're doing. Reverse engineer some of their campaigns, see where they're getting their traffic, and so on. Some of the tools that we use to do this on a daily basis is, again, most of you guys probably already use this, you probably already know it, but the Google Keyword Tool. And the Google Keyword Tool is going to help you in your ad campaigns and everything, so you can really, really drive that targeted traffic. Some of the tools that we use to help identify our target audience is Alexa and Quantcast. And step number 2, this is a concept that I put together it's probably been 4 years ago or so, and it's something I call the value ladder concept. And really what it is, if you look left or right, like on the left hand side, ebooks, some of your text type stuff is going to bring the least amount of value to a customer. It's probably the easiest and quickest to get out there and put up, but it is going to bring the least amount of value in their mind. On the right hand side, you might have done for you type of consulting, or even right before that, coaching. That obviously is going to bring a lot more value, but it is going to consume more of your time depending on how you set it up. The primary thing I'd like to get across here is this is a stair-step approach from left to right that increases the price and increases the value for the customers as you roll out different types of training. And you want to think about this in like one niche. So it's really taking that same content and expanding on it from left to right, providing more value to them, therefore you can charge more. And I mentioned about sales funnels previously. It's important to note that your sales process should include front-end offers as well. So if you think about it, you can even take some of these products that you create here and load them into a sales funnel. Somebody who buys your ebook might also be interested in your membership program or something with various videos in it. Now, I've talked a little bit about in the past your sales funnels. The landing page being the first page that you see in your sales funnel. A couple examples of these might be a squeeze page, a webinar that you're sending them to, possibly your blog. Whatever it is, you want to make sure that that's converting at the absolute highest possible level. And I'm going to go into a little bit of the math, the numbers of what those variables really mean in terms of you making money or you not making money. Step number 4 is about driving traffic, and really this graphic shows not every single type of traffic out there. It shows a lot of the ways to drive traffic. We're not going to get into every way to drive traffic by any means here, but it's more just for you to know that there are a lot of different ways to drive traffic. What you need to do is take one of them, get good at one of them, learn how to drive good targeted traffic to your landing page, and then move on to the next one. once you get that perfected and ramped up. Two of the top traffic methods that we're using right now in our business is LinkedIn and Facebook. LinkedIn, some of the business things we do, we can target specific professionals, companies, trades, whatever it might be. 238 million users out there. On Facebook, 1.15 billion users, and that's even probably outdated. That number is growing rapidly every single day, and Facebook has a ton of information about all of us, so you can really drive some targeted traffic there. So some of the things that we're using in our business right now, I kind of mentioned LinkedIn and Facebook. A couple others are Bing and banner ads or media buys. Just from those four, we can easily get 20,000 visitors a month to a few of our landing pages, and to be honest, there's even more room to ramp those up. We probably just need to pay a little bit closer attention to some of them. We have so many things going on in our business that we take our eye off the ball sometimes, and the good thing is it's been pretty consistent right around that 20,000 mark, and to be honest, that's been really profitable. So when you're making money, sometimes you take your eye off the ball, and that's a good reminder to get back in there and take a look at ramping those up even further. I mentioned early on that traffic and conversions are probably two of the most critical pieces. All six of these are pretty critical, but especially 4 and 5 are extremely critical, because these will be the absolute differentiator in you being profitable and you not being profitable. So if you're going to sell online, you absolutely must be constantly split testing your landing pages, your ad campaigns, everything throughout your sales funnel, to make sure you are wringing out every single cent possible. Here's just a quick little graphic that says, just because you have a car doesn't mean you will win the race. And what I really mean there is, just because you have a sales funnel, just because you have a product in place, doesn't mean you're going to go be a successful marketer. If you're not really taking the time to split test and increase the performance, you're probably not going to win at the end of the day. And if you are going to make money, you're absolutely not going to make all the money that you could be making if you were doing this correctly. So what are the steps for optimizing a sales funnel or a landing page? Here's what we do. First, we take a look at the ad campaign. Depending on where we're marketing, make sure the pic, the headline, the body text, those are the absolute critical things. You want to make sure that you're not sending traffic to people who aren't interested in your ad. So the more you hone in your campaigns and target them, it's going to put a lot more money back in your pocket. After the ad campaign is optimized, we're going to jump over to the landing page. Some of the things we take a look at are the layout and the style. We might test video against text, or long sales page versus short, or whatever it might be. Probably one of the most critical things, headline, your body copy, maybe some buttons or other graphical elements on it. And there are tools out there like Crazy Egg or Visual Website Optimizer that will help you identify some of these things that you really want to optimize. And then some of your follow-on pages within your sales funnel. Again, same type of deal after your landing page. After your sales funnel's pretty much optimized, the next thing you want to turn to and pay attention to is your follow-up sequence. You want to make sure, for those people who buy or don't buy, you send an adequate message to a follow-up sequence, and something that's really going to connect with them. You want to keep them engaged and interested, and you want them to come back and either buy more products or get that product that you hope to get in their hands into their hands. And really, from the top down, this is how we do it, from the ad campaign all the way through the follow-up sequence. Alright, so now I want to take a closer look. So I talked a little bit about the numbers and that we'd be getting into this. At the top line, it's really about revenue minus your cost equals profit. Now, I know I'm not teaching anybody anything there. That's pretty much business 101, but it is a good reminder to keep an eye on that. That's pretty simple. Something I want to stress is marketing is merely a math game. It's all about numbers. It's understanding the variables, and really most important is what you can do with those variables to get the outcome that you really desire. Now, those that understand optimization is about squeaking every dollar out of your funnel will win this game. Alright, so let's think about this. If you invest $100 in traffic, let's just say 200 clicks, for a squeeze page that converts at 30%, it's going to yield 60 subscribers. And an important thing to mention here is that's 60 people that are going to have a chance to see your funnel, to get into your follow-up sequence. So it's really critical that your landing page converts so they actually get to what you're trying to sell them. Alright, let's take a look at those numbers. What that's going to yield is that you're going to pay $1.66 for every single subscriber, which in my perspective isn't too good. Now, on the other hand, let's take a look at an optimized squeeze page. Alright, that exact same squeeze page, let's say you did some split testing and you bumped that thing from 30% up to 40%. That's going to yield 80 subscribers, 20 more than the previous one. Now, you're going to only pay $1.25 for each subscriber. That's nearly a 25% reduction in your cost per lead. I talked about putting more money in your pocket, and that right there is exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, hypothetically speaking, let's say your customer value is $1.60. Let's take a look at the numbers now. In the first scenario, the cost was $1.66, customer value $1.60. You're going to lose 6 cents per subscriber, or a 4% loss. Scenario number 2. Again, your upfront cost was $1.25, customer value $1.60. That's a gain of 35% per subscriber, or a 28% return on your investment. Now you can see the difference in the two scenarios there. That's a 32% swing in revenue, all from increasing that squeeze page conversion by 10%. So that just shows you how important it is to pay attention to what the most critical variables are, and if you're not doing split testing, you are losing money, or you're definitely not making as much profit as you could and should be. The bottom line is you need to know your numbers, and you need to know where you need to be profitable. The sixth step and the last one is what I call post-sale activities. Some of the things that you can do and probably should do is you want to become known as an expert authority in whatever niche or whatever industry that you're in. You want to build relationships, and you want to establish trust. You want people to feel like you're the person to listen to, and the stuff that you do put out there that they feel confident in, once they go implement it, they actually see the results, and seeing results is what builds that trust and builds that credibility that you're seeking. You want to provide top value possible. The more value that you can provide increases the size of your tribe, increases the trust, the authority, and everything about it. And you want to build out your Gold Series. Your Gold Series is your follow-on series that I talked about, but the reason it's kind of termed Gold Series is because that's like your sales team post getting them on your subscriber list. These are already defined messages that are going to go out on specific days to your customers, and within those they need to be warming up your audience to new ideas and to sell other products that either you have or that you're promoting or whatever. But the most important thing you can do is build that thing out as long and as far as you can, and keep people engaged, keep people interested, and most importantly, keep potential sales, keep product in front of them or services in front of them that are going to continue making you money for as long as you have that follow-on series in place. And again, something I really want to emphasize, marketing is merely a math game. The question really comes down to, are you winning or losing that game? So now that we walked through the 6 steps and what it really takes to be successful in internet marketing, as simple as that is finding the right product, driving or having the ability to drive massive amounts of traffic to your offer, and then getting it to convert. As simple as that is, it really is difficult, and that's why so many people get confused, get frustrated, and really struggle, and probably most people don't even make a profit, and quite a few don't even make their first dollar. Now, with all that said, what if I told you about an opportunity that simplifies this whole process and actually takes away most of the work required within those 6 steps? Now, I already hear it. You're saying that's too good to be true. Not so fast. What if I told you very little market research is required? No product research or creation is required. We do all the funnel creation and split testing for you. We show you exactly what ads we're running and show you how to copy them. We show you exactly how to follow up with your targeted leads and how to close them. Something to keep in mind here, this has already produced a lot of millionaires, so it's a proven process. It's not a hypothetical theory. Something else I do want to mention here, this doesn't guarantee your success, but it does bring validity to the system we're about to show you. And really the primary differentiator comes down to you and your ability to take action, follow what we're going to show you, and believe in what you're going to do. Be goal oriented and go out there and achieve your dreams. Go out there and achieve your goals. We're looking for aspiring marketers looking to generate more leads and easily close them. We're looking for committed people looking to take action that will provide meaningful impact. We're looking for people interested in learning how to successfully market and establish an in-demand product that's not going away. Now, I do want to say who this is not for. We're not looking for the tire kickers, people that don't have time to devote to building their business, those that don't understand building your business requires investing in it. A lot of people out there are really looking for that silver bullet, that push button system that's going to just put money into their account. And I really hate to say it, but that just doesn't exist, no matter how many marketers out there are trying to sell you on it. Now again, this is something very simple. The reason it's simple is because we are out there blazing the path ahead of you, and we are using our experience, our background, our knowledge to go out there and make this easier for you. It's not about that the system, the process is easy. It's that we are intentionally going out there ahead of everyone and learning what works, what doesn't work, perfecting it, and then turning it over to people like you. This is not for people who struggle with taking action. Now, due to obvious time constraints, we only accept a limited number of applicants. This takes serious time investment on our part, so our time is limited and is reserved for only committed entrepreneurs. It's time to follow proven marketers that have a proven and replicatable process that will save you time and money. So here's how the process works. First, complete our short and simple survey. Second, select a time that fits your schedule. Third, have a quick 30-minute strategy session to discuss your goals and to further learn about this opportunity. So if all this sounds interesting, I strongly encourage you to click the button below, and we're going to show you exactly what we're doing in our business right now and how you can do the same.